has already headed out across the pond and is there for us in Tampa. Roy Keane and Karen Carney will be packing their suitcases very shortly. Good evening, both. We talk so much about conditions, but you two know what it's like. You trained there when you played for Chicago. Roy played in the World Cup in the States. What does that mean? How does it impact you? How did it impact you playing in those conditions? How will it impact the English players?
I think for me it was the humidity that got me. You walk out, obviously the heat hits you, but then it's the breathing. And when I was in Tampa, actually, we also had the thunderstorms, and I just saw all the American players just bolt off the pitch, and us Brits were like, what's going on here? And then realised we've got to go as well. So you have to be prepared for everything, and it can affect your game, your mentality, but you just have to get to grips with it.
Roy, so much of what you do as an elite player is instinctive. Do you actually have to try and counter that because you cannot play the way that you'd play on a Saturday afternoon at Old Trafford because of the heat and the humidity?
Yeah, will certainly come into the certain players' minds, players who maybe do a lot more sprinting than maybe obviously the centre-halves, full-backs, wing-backs, midfielders. So part of your game will be, particularly when the game starts, friendlies won't be too bad the next week or so, is that you will have to game management better, and your instinct certainly, maybe from a midfielder's point of view, you always say if you see a gap, go for it, but you will have to think twice about it because you won't be able to. You certainly won't be able to do as many runs because obviously the conditions, as we said. So your decision making is going to be huge when and when not to make those runs, which again takes you away from your natural game.
Yeah, another layer of thinking that you have to indulge in. Let's have a look at the teams then. As we said, there are no Arsenal players involved. They've arrived, but they're not involved yet. Thomas Tuchel wants to change, and we anticipate he will change the entire team at half-time. That is the starting 11. Ollie Watkins is going to play on the right, Harry Kane, Rashford, Manu Henderson and Rodgers, Jed Spence at left-back. All the substitutes there. Alex Scott, Joshua King, Ethan Nwaneri and Rio Ngoma are not in the World Cup squad, but they may well play today. So that's what it looks like from their point of view. It's going to be so interesting, this, isn't it? Because they're all unbelievably fit, but the human body is different every single time, and some will inevitably acclimatise quicker than others.
Yeah, and obviously players that have played abroad as well it might be an advantage for them. But I think, look, when you get out there, as I said, you can't prepare for that heat, that humidity, and the best preparation is just get out there and expose the players. I think, as you said, obviously 2 different teams, but throughout this tournament, I think there's going to be 26 players constantly used, and maybe not the goalkeepers, but everyone's going to have that exposure because we're going to have to.
I think, as Karen says, this is going to be a World Cup of the entire squad, maybe like no World Cup we've ever seen before. Do you sense that?
Yeah, of course, and obviously that's where the managers that would be getting the big bucks, their decision maker, when to make the changes, and obviously managing when you get them water breaks. But regarding the game tonight, obviously it's a different scenario because he's making the changes, obviously so many changes at half-time, a complete change of the teams. But yeah, they're the chance for different players, they'll adapt different ways, but again, it's about peaking. The players will still be adapting now, but it's about peaking obviously and getting right for the Croatia game.
What did you make of the England squad? There was a bit of noise about it, a few people left out, a few families upset. What do you make of it?
Well, there's always, every time we do an England game, there's talk about, we spend a lot of time about players who've been left out, or players who, in terms of the squad, are left out of the starting 11. But I think if you've not been able to make that squad of 26, that's on you. I think that's on the player. You've not done enough to convince that manager. And there'll always be uproar with England when players are left out, if they're playing for certain clubs. But that's on you. If you can't make a squad of 26, don't be blaming anybody but yourself.
What did you make of it?
I think he's gone for athletes. I think there's not many players under 6 foot. I think he's gone for robust players who can last the climate, hopefully 6 weeks. Set pieces, because Roy speaks about climate. Obviously games might be a bit slower, teams might sit back, so set pieces are going to be a massive weapon. So I think he's gone for physicality and athletes, and maybe that's why certain technical players who might be slighter in their physical attributes might not have made it. But he's considered lots of things, and I also think he might have learnt from Arsenal in the penalty shootout in the Men's Champions League that when you go 120 minutes and you bring off your starters, you've got to have preparation for your penalty takers as well, those are on the pitch. So I think he's really thought this through, and hopefully he's got it right.
Yeah, I think England would certainly be one of the best prepared teams for this tournament. Without a doubt, I know there's still been a couple of weeks to play with, but I think the manager, he's a smart cookie. But whether eventually they have the quality or they're good enough defensively, that's sort of big test in knockout games. But in terms of preparation, I think England will have a spot on.
He looks well in control of things, doesn't he? Absolutely. We'll hear from him in a second. After a memorable season with Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers gets his 14th cap for England tonight. He's looking forward to all with Gabriel Clark, who is pitch side for us in Tampa.
Morgan, good to see you. Wonderful season with the club. Now coming into your first tournament, the World Cup. Just sum up the feeling.
So excited. It's a young boy's dream to be in this position, to be able to represent my country at World Cup, and it being so close, the excitement gets bigger every day, and it's the first test of getting used to it, acclimatising and adapting. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So what about the heat out there?
Yeah, it's hot, as expected, but we've got a task. It's hot for everyone. We've got a task to do. We've got a job to do. We've got to acclimatise, get used to it, and be in the best possible shape when the first game comes.
Yeah, the manager's going to play 2 teams over the 245s. Is that going to enable you to be more intense then, by definition?
Yeah, of course. We're going to have to push ourselves to the limit, and what we can do, what we can't do, and kind of work from there. Strategy is going to be a big thing at the tournament, I think, and we need to get used to that to know what to do and to know how to handle it. And obviously every player is different, every player deals with it different. So yeah, I think it's just getting acclimatised and getting used to it as much as possible.
Listen, New Zealand are the lowest ranked team at this World Cup. Is there also the opportunity to make an impression?
Yeah, of course. They're going to be a good team. They're here for a reason. They qualified just like we did. They're in the competition, so we won't look at that. We'll look at them and take them as face value, and we'll look at the clips as we have done for this game, and we will still want to try and win. It's another international putting on the shirt to try and win a game, and that's how we've got to look at it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
England have only met New Zealand twice before. Both games were played on a summer tour back